Alright, so the year's 2015, Joey Sturgis has just finished wrapping up the latest Miss May I record, and bless the fall, metalcore is at an all-time high, and the plugin JST Menace has just hit the scene, taking everyone by storm. So if you want to revisit those high gain tones out of JST Menace, that's what we're going to be doing in this video. Let's get our metalcore on. Alright, how's that mix sounding? I found it was pretty surprising for such an old plugin to slot into the mix as well as it did. Compared to other amp sims, I did have to sort of refine things and just really hit that sweet spot. Some other plugins are a little bit easier to mix. Not to say that this can't be done, but it was a little bit harder. It definitely has a little bit of a feel of ESD to it, but that's totally fine. So for the first little portion of this, let's feel how it plays under the hands, because that is one important aspect of amp sims. How well is tracking, and then how well is mixing. So let's give it a bit of a playthrough. Everything is on default now. So everything's feeling really good under the hands, no qualms at all in tracking with this. And like I keep saying in all my videos, as long as it tracks well, you can worry about things later. Even if you end up scrapping the particular plugin that you're doing, your whole goal in the tracking phase is just to get a good performance, lay everything down, and then you can mix things later. You can send it off to get mixed, but you just have to make sure that your playing is really nice. If the plugin feels off or something doesn't, you're not getting that nice response under the hands, you might play a little bit weirdly, and then when you pull up a different plugin, you just sort of stuffed, you're against the corner because that DI isn't as good. But I don't think you're going to have any problems with this. For even as old of a plugin as it is, everything feels good under the hands, and that's a big part of it. All right, let's check out the plugin and everything it has to offer. So we just got this riff going on. This is how it sounds in the mix. So let's check out the OD pedal. Let's just turn it off. So it just does that cut that we'd expect. You don't really need me to go through a tube screamer pedal. I'm pretty sure you're familiar with how that works. Let's just test out the gain range. So that's pretty much the full tone sweep you're getting there. Now we'll go to the cab section and just take a look at these very simple stuff here. So you can load your own IRs if that's what you want to do. You can just disable that section altogether and run an external IR player if that's what you want to do. Pretty basic stuff, but like I said, a package like this back then was just like, oh wow, we can have something on the computer that actually sounds good. So I'm not going to bash it too hard. They all have a little bit of harshness that you could probably do well with some EQing, but that's not the point of this video. I'll let a more experienced mixer go through that sort of stuff. Now you do have a parametric EQ. I'll move on to the last riff, which needed some of this stuff just to roll off that low end. But yeah, you have a typical parametric EQ, do whatever you need to do here. Don't need me to walk you through an EQ, pretty standard stuff there. And then eventually at the end there, you have a limiter if you want to do limiting. I don't particularly like doing limiting in any amp sims, possibly with a clean tone, maybe. I'd rather just do it externally. Haven't done it for this video, haven't touched the limiter on this, but it's here if you need it. I was waiting to test out a plugin to do this, just a plugin that absolutely doesn't do clean, and it's like, how clean can we get this thing sounding? So I turned the overdrive pedal off, or tube screamer pedal. I literally have the gain on 1, and then I just played around, a lot of top end, take out the mids, and then that's how this is sounding. It's not like ultra clean, like the cleanest thing in the world, but it's just got like just enough dirt on it to have character. I was surprised at how well this thing turned up, and especially if you chuck in some like delay and reverb, that would sit very, very nicely in a mix. So even if you want to get super clean tones, I was surprised how well Menace held up. Now I wanted to show this last riff because this was by far the toughest one to dial in to make sound right. I'll show you why. But effectively the DI is just a lot stronger. It's drop A sharp. I'm smashing the guitar, the EC1000. Bare knuckle Blackhawks bare knuckle aftermaths in drop A sharp. I'll turn the plugin off and then we'll just hear the DI on its own. So it's an absolute chonk DI, but I just found what it was sort of like squishing the distortion characteristics of the amp, and it was starting to get into that fuzz turf that I don't like too much. I want that like sizzly 5150 sort of sound. And I really had to play with the gain stage, with the input stage, and then the overdrive stage. I just had to play around with those and balance it. But I did get the end result. It took a few minutes, which really doesn't seem like much time in the grand scheme. But considering other plugins, you can sort of get there in 30 to 60 seconds. This took 3 to 5 minutes. Splitting hairs, it's an old amp sim, that sort of thing happens. I just thought that was a interesting discovery. So let's take a listen to it. Definitely around here, you can sort of see it's still a little bit fuzzy. I can't get that fuzz out of it, but here we are. It sounds fine in the mix. In the end, sounds fine. Let's get it back in the mix for a sec. There we go, that's my look at a JST Menace. I really just wanted to pull this up to see how well some of these old plugins compare to new ones. just to shine some light on, you know, we all have a plugin wall of shame. We all probably own this stuff or stuff similar to this, and it just gets the juices flowing of like, maybe I don't need to go out there and get the latest and greatest plugin. Maybe for my needs today, I already have that thing in my plugin pile of shame that can actually do the job. So look, I'll chuck up my AmpSim score for it on the screen now, and you can see what I think about it. But price-wise, I can see just straight off Google, it's $24 US. So it's really not breaking the bank in terms of amp sims, even though it is so like, you know, one-dimensional, I guess, in 8 years later. And realistically, with the JST stuff, they do deals all the time. They have flash sales. I think I picked this up as part of a pack. I think I wanted like 2 other plugins, and then they got me with some like big pack, and then I bought a sale, then they hit you straight away with another email, and I picked up Skybox. So they're pretty sneaky, those JST guys, but they get your business, you know. So there it is. There's a look at JST Menace. Do you own this? Have you thought about getting it? Did you skip it? I'm sure so many people own this amp sim now. So if you've used this on any productions, definitely comment below. Let me know about it. What a look into yesteryear checking out JST Menace has been. Thanks for sticking around to the end of the video. I'll leave links here and here for all the other amp sim videos that I've been doing in what I call Amp Simtember. As always, thanks for sticking around to the end of the video. Smash that like and subscribe. Everything helps, and I'll catch you on the next one.